Welcome to another episode of Sports Card Insights. Dr. James Beckett. I'm here with Mike Fruitman, one of our outstanding sponsors. Also have Topps, Panini, and Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Huggins & Scott Auctions, as well as Burbank Sportscards, BGS, BAS, Beckett Media, and COMC, comc.com. So lots of different ways to be involved in our hobby, in our industry. Today, with Mike Fruitman here, we're going to talk about card shops and his shop in particular this time. We may get into some philosophy of what makes a great card shop, but we're just going to focus on his great shop. We're going to at least launch and start out with talking about his great card shop up in Aurora, Colorado. So welcome, Mike. Tell us a little bit about your card shop, how it got started, and how it's evolved into something that's now a destination for hobby-determined families.
After getting out of college, I had a great evening job, and I needed a perfect complement day job to go with it. So I started hanging out at the LCS, the local card shop around the corner from my parents' house, and I became kind of like Norm, except for I didn't drink all the alcohol.
You've got a lot of pop culture references. You realize that.
Bill Simmons is my dude. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I started hanging out there, and it was basically one of those things where there's that trust level with collectors where I trust you long enough to go to the bathroom for a short term with you in here, and then I eventually trust you to use the bathroom for a longer duration, and then I trust you long enough to go to lunch, and then finally I was the trustable guy. And started hanging out there and just, whatever shifts I could grab, it justified not having to go out and get day jobs in interview places. So I was able to self-teach how to run a card shop and get paid at the same time. And finally, in December of '92, the owner came at me and said, well, Mike, as you know, I have been asking you not to cash your most recent paychecks, and you haven't asked me why, and here's the handwriting on the wall. So here it is, December of 1992, I get told that it's going to get sold to someone else, closed or sold to me. And when a card shop is there, it is a section of the community. It is everybody else's cheers. When they're having a bad day, they can look forward to going there. And I didn't want to get a real job. That was scary. So I bought the store not knowing what the heck I was doing.
Did you buy the store? Did you buy the store brand? Did you buy the store inventory? What were the component parts there? Was it a failing business with a lot of bad inventory or good inventory? Or what did you walk into or what was your decision point at that point?
I bought a skeleton, basically. It was a cash register, display cases, and slat wall. The owner kept all the commons there, and we had a deal set up where every common, he got 50% of whatever the sale was.
Okay.
And outside of that, all the wax and all the display cases left the store. Fortunately, I was lucky enough, I want to say smart enough, to have squirreled away some wax, so I had something to put on the shelves. But here it is, 92, pre-internet. There wasn't really a distributor in Denver.
Right.
So getting wax boxes meant SCD. It meant begging Topps to finally let me on, which they needed to know me. They needed to give me some time. But, finding friends who would go to Sam's Club, Price Club at the time, Costco, who could supply me with wax. But it was really perfect timing because I was thinking, okay, here's this Shaquille O'Neal guy who's making a little bit of a slight impact ripple. And the next year there's this Rockies team that is coming to town.
Right.
If I can't make it now, I've got a gigantic push behind me. If I can't run this thing down the rest of the hill, then how, I'm never going to make it. And gained momentum, and then the '94 strike happened, and survived that. And
how has your mix changed over the years? When you started, did you have other memorabilia, or was it mainly cards? And if it was cards, was it mainly unopened product, or some sorted commons and stars and sets and things?
Starting off, at least, it was mostly single cards. In terms of memorabilia, we're a sports card shop that dabbles with memorabilia, and it's always been that way. If something walks in that's appropriate, that my collectors are going to want, of course, I'll buy it. But pretty much from the onset and continuing, we are a sports card shop. So it's evolved now where it's flipped, where it's mostly wax. But singles are still a very strong selection or part of our inventory.
Commons? I mean, do you do a lot of commons, or is it because we have COMC and the Beckett Marketplace, and there's places to get commons. And there's a lot of labor involved. And like we were talking, the organizational aspect of just being able to access every card is not fun, I think. Not fun for you, probably.
When I moved into my most recent location, I had this back area and I didn't know what to do with it. So I basically put all the commons back there, and it just never got any attention. And it was the best day it was ever back there was the first day, and it's been downhill since. So somebody finally came in, and I pestered them enough where they finally paid not a pittance, but enough to clean up the room. And it was basically to reacquire space. And we put other things back up there to clear off the floors. But, and I say this horribly, but I don't sell commons. I feel badly. I feel like I'm not servicing all my collector base.
What do you tell them to do? Because you don't tell them, hey, what do you tell them to do?
We do have some. We get some singles that are left behind. We break open one box of each Topps product. But yeah, we are a very big proponent of Burbank. We send people to COMC. I have no problem sending people to places that can help them. If it's another card shop, if it's another entity, I really don't mind. And I feel like at that point I'm becoming more of a trusted advisor.
Right.
And yes, I don't make the 98 cents selling 14 commons to someone. Hey, I was about to say, but I'm okay with that. I'm really not okay with that. I just realized it has to be my mindset to continue.
Well, the trade-offs. You can't be all things. As you said, Rob Veras has an approach at Burbank, and it's very labor intensive, and it seems like you have a little bit more of a dynamic thing going where you're making. They come to your shop not with a want list to buy these specific cards, and that's it. They're looking for an experience.
Completely.
And you're giving them experience. But so does that mean your customers stay there longer? Or do they, because it would seem like in a transactional store, you just come in, it's what I want. It's like going to a grocery store and you just check out. But are they hanging out at your store? Is that what you're trying to encourage? Are you a Starbucks?
I'm an extended stay Starbucks. And if I was
free Wi-Fi?
My Wi-Fi thing is I'm in a van outside. That is my connecting. That's what you connect to.
Okay.
So nobody ever uses it. It's great. But if I was a superhero, if there was a next Marvel movie, my superhero ability would be bladder control because I can have people in the store for 3-4 hours and it's just a hangout. When like one of my regulars is at the show. I don't have customers, by the way. I have collectors. You didn't use that word. It's just a self-correct. One of my collectors is out here, Mark, and my favorite days aren't when I leave the store and the registered tape tells me I had a good day. It's when I have a good day, which is hanging out with Mark. It's hanging out with Nick and all these collectors who come in. And I want to be that place where they go to. And if they happen to buy something, oh, so great as well. But that's what I want. I've always wanted that. And when you create that, I mean, I've always had a shop as an individual surrounded by cards. And if you buy me, you will buy my cards. And not from a buy perspective, but just to break it down.
But you're competitively priced. You're not necessarily the lowest price or the highest price. I would assume you're competitively priced.
I'm very competitively priced.
Check it out. They wouldn't think, oh, wow, he overcharged me or I stole it or anything.
Not at all.
It'd just be fair pricing. And do you know, my old company in Price Guides, are you pricing by feel or are you taking into account a lot of these different places where cards are sold or price guides? I mean, what do you develop your basis for pricing based on your market there?
Well, for new acts, it's very easy. You simply go with the trends. I mean, with Panini, they spell out where the lowest price you can put it out. And certainly
for a certain period of time.
Exactly. So for that duration, we'll do that. We also offer a discount card club. So we've got people who used to come in the shop and they would see my car. I used to have this lovely 98 Intrepid. So if they saw that, they knew they could get the Mikey price. And if they didn't see that 98 Intrepid, a lot of people wouldn't even come in. So I had to get rid of that. So you're either in the club or out. It's a year-long membership, blah, 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 but it works with all my collectors. It works with, more importantly, with all my employees. So they don't have to deal with call Mike, because, sometimes at one moment I remember I was literally choking somebody at a Metallica concert, flipped my phone on back in the flip phone days, explained to my collector that I was choking somebody and I would call them in a minute, and got to the gate, removed the gentleman, and he stepped up towards me and goes, wait a second. And I'm like, wait a second, are we going to fight here? What's our deal? Well, I mentally said that. And he goes, I got to know something. What's that? He goes, were you really on the phone? Yes, I was really on the phone. That was so cool. Like, me choking you and me on the phone was cool. So I quickly called the shop, and it was the opposite question. Were you really choking somebody? Yes, I was really choking somebody. What do you need a price on? It's Metallica. I got to go back to work.
Good kids, don't try that at home. But speaking of kids, you have always had a heart for getting, I think part of the lifeblood of the future hobby is having kids collecting now. So what are you doing to promote kids coming into your shop and trying to help other card shops around the country realize that you've got to do certain things that make this hobby more inviting to kids? So what are you doing and what are you recommending for others?
I'm flashing back to that moment where I got that first Pete Rose card from a pack of 78 Topps baseball, and I want to create that moment for everybody else. People don't find sports cards. A lot of time they get dragged into it by their parents or friends. And what I'm trying to do is, a month and a half ago, we started getting names. We've got 149 kids who have signed up in a month and a half. We give them a nicely printed out card. And I remember being a kid and
a membership card.
Absolutely. Okay. And every month they come in and I'm able to cross off June, July, whatever. And every time they come in, they get a free pack. We started off with some extra promotional packs from Panini, and you can come in, get a pack and leave. And, which rarely happens. Most of the kids how do you go somewhere and not try?
Right.
So, and we also came up with a program.
Plus if they see other kids there.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to create that thing so when they get that pack opening experience so that it becomes a part of their life. I don't want to get them addicted. I just want it to be part of what they do and part of what they enjoy. And it's come to the point now we're getting kids, everybody who comes to the store, not everybody, but a large percentage have come in and they've signed up. But now we're getting kids who see other kids with that card. A few of my collectors are coaches. So they're now saying, hey, go over there, join his club, get free cards. Right. And the response has been incredible. I kept track of how many kids came in. Our comeback rate in the first month was incredible. And we're getting parents who are thanking us. And just, the kids are...
There's no downside to this, is there? I mean, you're investing some time to organize something, but is there any downside for you doing this? I mean, the kids they're pleasant, right? I mean, they're awesome. They're good kids. They're coming in. They're not coming in to steal. They're coming in to enjoy. So there's no real downside, right?
No, this is the opposite of downside.
You're not a glorified babysitter.
Correct. Yes.
But that could be. I mean, if parents drop off their kids and pick them up at the end of the.
We used to have that. Yes.
Yeah.
I cringe. But
Yeah.
but no, it's awesome. I get to be that place where the car slows down to 4 and the door opens up. The coolest thing is I get this one kid, he comes to the store and he's got his bike and he does like the skidding noise and he like, just like applies the brakes and he runs in and he's just
Got here
happy
as
to be
fast as I
there.
could.
Yeah, exactly. And to be that place, I get to own a card shop. I don't have to own a card shop. I mean, sometimes on a Saturday at 6:30 at night when I'm tired of being there, yeah. But I get to own a card shop. I get to do this every day. And I'm going to make sure that that happens at my store. And I want to work with other shops to create this on a shop level. And if there's a manufacturer who wants to partner up, a distributor who wants to get in on as well, there's so many end runs on products. I'm not asking for 1,000 jerseys every month. I'm just hoping for the scraps. Fortunately, we just had a company send us out a very generous amount of packs, so we're all set for August, and we're ready to give out. And the kids are, I hope they're at the door right now, chomping on whatever we're throwing out.
Because it's August.
It's August, yes, new day.
Where are you? Yeah, you're in Chicago, unfortunately.
No, fortunately, I get to be here. I get to be
Do you
here.
ever hire any of these kids for part-time stuff? I mean,
yes, absolutely. The people who work in the shop, it's when you hire somebody to work in a shop, it's a real balance. You've got to have somebody who's got that card knowledge, but doesn't have a card addiction. And I've got a lot of knowledgeable people. I hopefully have weeded out the addicted folks, thanks to the assistance of the Aurora Police. Right. It was 1800. 2000 is apparently a felony within the city of Aurora. These are things I wish I didn't have to know.
Yeah. Well, I actually had a card shop a long time ago. And one of the young men that worked for us, I actually had a partner in partners when I was doing that. I wondered if you ever had a partner, not counting a wife, but
never know.
One of the guys that we hired, turned out to then much later come work at Beckett Publications and was just a fabulous employee. He had good character when he was a kid. He had that right balance of knowledge, and you're calling it addiction, but it's just there's a character and competency. He knew the stuff, and he also had good boundaries. And it went on to a very nice career. But he's moved on now to a different career, but was a fabulous contributor. I should say
I'm working through who
Dan Hitt, who was our key football guy for so many years, but he's doing other things now. But he was 14 when I hired him, and not in the card shop. That's a long time ago.
Sure.
But great memories of that, and I'm sure you're creating new memories right now. So thanks, Mike Fruitman, for telling us about Mike's Stadium Sport Cards. We'll do this again. I do want our listeners to know what's going on in card shops, and I hope our listeners will frequent their local card shop. That's Mike's desire as well. So again, thanks, Mike, for sitting here with us, and we'll do it again.
Absolutely.